Welcome to Love and Life Hitched Up. Today we're going to go over how to hook the electric up on your Tab 400. Few things that you need to bring with you when you are camping out there in your Tab 400. First important is a surge protector. This lets you know whether or not you have any open grounds or floating neutrals or anything like that that could cause a problem and short out things inside of your Tab. Those circuit boards inside your Tab are very expensive. This is a much better option. We did run across one in all of our trips where they had bad wiring, so the surge protector wouldn't work. That was the only one time, but all the other times this has come in handy and made sure we had what we need. Another thing that I did purchase is a product by Camco, which I like. Heavy gauge. This is a 50 amp. It's a 30 Dogbone. This allows me, in the event that I have a campsite or a camp pole that only set up for 50 amp, I can bring it down to 30 is what I require for the Tab 400. And the last Dogbone that I have is the 30 amp to 110 on the other side. This allows me to plug into my generator and also lets me plug into house power. They all come with the big handles for putting in and out, and also gives you the opportunity to run a lock through those, as well as the surge protector here as a built-in lock mechanism, so that you don't come back to your campsite and find out that some honest people became unhonest and took your stuff. This is not cheap. They're much more expensive ones, but this is about $100. So you definitely want to keep your stuff secure. This is the power cord that comes with the Tab 400 from the manufacturer. It's about 30 feet, I think. Also has the little locking mechanisms. You can lock it to the pole if need be, keeping those honest people honest. I do not have an extension to this, something I'm going to look at in the future in the event that I end up farther than 30 feet from the power pole, but it hasn't happened as of yet, so hopefully we'll continue that way. But good quality stuff. Screw collar attaches right on, and this is a Comtech cord. You gotta make sure everything off, like the air conditioning, Aldi and all that stuff is off before you hook everything up. Very important when you're getting ready to hook up your RV that you find your electrical box. There are two setups in most. If you have a 50 or 30, and the difference is you can tell by the number of prongs. 50 is going to have 3 prongs and a ground. 30 is going to have 2 prongs and a ground, matching here. So always use a surge protector. Lets you know that the electricity is flowing the right way, so you don't burn up anything inside of your rig. Important to turn off is the 50. You can tell that it's joined, and the 30 is 2 separate. So make sure you turn off the breaker. Install your thing. Turn on your switches, very hard to see in the dark, and go by your lights on here. It'll tell you whether or not you have any problems with ground, and the green light at the bottom will show you that the surge protector is actually functioning. So when those are all on, turn it back off. You take your 30 amp shore power, install that in, make sure it's pressed all the way down, and then your other end, your 30 amp power goes in and then twists, so you gotta line it up and then twist to lock it in place. Some people say you don't need to put on the spin collar because it's already locked in place, but I usually just put a couple of turns on it to make sure nothing happens. Not always the easiest to line up, but a couple of spins just keeps everything nice and tight, so you don't have to worry about any arcing or issues like that. And then I make sure that's good. We go back over, everything is good, and we turn the power back on. We got green arrows and green dots. And lastly, there's a red dot here on top of the shore power plug. That shows that you have power going in. And then I close that, just keep a little moisture off. And then we go inside and check. Everything was off before we pulled from site to site. So now I come in here and I just click the battery button and it tells me we're at full charge, which is good. But then we want to make sure that we're running off of interior lights. So we hit some light switches, sink light, interior light, and then we can turn the air conditioning on. And then the air conditioning will only run on shore power or generator, will not run off the battery. So that should kick on any second. And then we know that we're 100%, but no worries. So we went over on some of the general principles of hooking up, and everywhere you go, it's going to be a slightly different setup. It's not going to be very similar, it's going to be very different. In this particular setup, we have 3 options. We have a 50 amp, we have a 30 amp, and we have standard 110. So these breakers are individual. So when you are not utilizing the 50 or the basic, keep them in the off position. Prior to disconnecting from shore power, I actually go inside and manually shut off the air conditioner. It takes a minute or so for it to finish running through its cycle before it completely shuts off. I like to do that before disconnecting from shore power.
And it gives them a chance to cool down.
And as you can hear, though the power is off, the fan is still moving the air out until it finishes through its cycle. And then it'll turn off. And then it's safe to disconnect from shore power. So if you like this video, go ahead and subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and make sure you smash that bell icon down below. Leave a comment in the bottom, let us know how we're doing, anything you'd like to see or anything you'd like more information of. And remember, when you're out there loving life, do it hitched up.